you know, like that shit's not gonna be good.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a new episode of what is this?
I guess we're
I
flaming.
don't know.
We're flaming
Flame
something.
it. Fire.
Flame.
Roast
Okay,
session.
bonfire.
It's a
What I-
bonfire.
We're roasting.
Welcome to the
we,
new episode of the
I
bonfire.
take that back. So not
hell yeah.
bonfire.
We're gonna talk about
It's
what
like
I
that,
call
let
the
it sit
Wonder
for a
Woman 2 of
second,
X-Men movies,
like, just do
aka
all
Dark
that
Phoenix.
and let it sit and then come back around.
All right.
My bad. I'm
So are we combining these? Like, is this?
Yes,
is
let's
this,
combine
are we just talking
these.
about
We
worst
talk
X-Men
about-
movies, or is this like specifically about Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. I mean, we could just talk about those.
All right, like New Mutants is pretty simple. Like I said, I don't know if people remember that they marketed it as like a big horror movie, and then the pandemic happened, and then some things happened, and they pushed the release date back a whole bunch of times until people didn't even know if the movie was still going to come out. And the fact that the early screenings were so negative, the studio was like, I don't even know what the fuck to do with this movie, so they pushed it back again and again and again. So they just like quietly put it out like randomly one day. So I don't blame people who didn't see it, because like it was a fucking mess, the whole release of the movie, and then the movie was like painfully average at best. Like at
Painfully
best,
average.
like I feel it's pretty shitty, honestly, as a
With
fan
a
of the
plot that
Mutants.
made no sense, but then tried to connect to Logan at the same time.
Yeah, it's like it had no connective tissue to anything. They didn't lean hard enough into the horror aspect, and the New Mutants is not really a horror comic either. So it's just like, okay, like if you want to do a horror thing, like why would you pick the New Mutants? Like okay. But anyway, yeah, it's a fucking mess. Like they ruined just about every character is unlikable. They ruined all the beloved New Mutants. They suck. I can't think of anyone who was likable through the entire movie. And yeah, it's a really boring ass plot. They're just stuck in a hospital. They're stuck in a fucking hospital. Even though Ileana Rasputin has portal power, she can teleport anywhere she fucking wants. But for some reason, they don't explain she can't teleport outside this fucking hospital, and they're just trapped in this force field. And so they get out, and it's very boring. It's very boring. I'll give it like a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10.
So what's the third act like? Like, do they like have a final boss fight or whatever? What's that like?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Like, it's one of those, like, the final boss is low-key one of the main characters, but like you can kind of see that shit coming from a mile of fucking way.
Yeah, it's the doctor. It's only one person in the fucking hospital with them. It's Cecilia Reyes, a character for the comics, and like she's basically the bad guy, and it just turns out she works for Mr. Sinister's corporation. Boom, that's it. She works for Essex Company or whatever, which is Mr. Sinister's name in the comics, even though you never see Mr. Sinister or anything alluding to him in the bitch. It's just like, oh, this lady works for Mr. Sinister, and they're experimenting on these young mutants. That's the plot. The mutants escape. They just fucking leave at the end. That's it. It's terrible. It's awful. And like I said, they mischaracterize the characters as well. And then they do this whole. There's a thing that Marvel likes to do with colorism with their Afro Latino characters. The Afro Latino characters start looking very black, and then as years go on, they get whiter and whiter and whiter until they're just white passing. And they did that with Roberto. They've done that with Roberto with in the comics as well, and like that continues to happen with their characters. People have complained for their casting of America Chavez, and for other brown characters that come off a lot more white passing when they come to live action, or sometimes even in the comics they get drawn
like with Storm
over the
like
years.
the whole Storm debacle.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of issues with that as well. I think that was also an issue with the movie. And then they make the most popular, my favorite New Mutants character is utterly unlikable piece of shit in the movie, which is Magic. Like they make Magic like a racist bully for some reason, and then just like try to give her a hero moment at the end. But then you're just like, she's been a bitch this entire movie. Like I don't know why.
You can't even tell. Like, and the sad part is like that she's not only a legacy character, but she has ties to the main team as well. So like that made no fucking sense.
Yeah, her brother's Colossus. Like she's one of the more
who
powerful.
Is Loki already in the universe, which is crazy because he's already in the fucking universe.
Yeah, he's in the.
I'm thoroughly upset about that because I had no idea. Because Majik is also one of my favorite characters. Primarily just because of how badass like her character is as a whole, like, and how it's still kind of not really talked about how she just became the ruler of multiple dimensions or whatever the fuck. Like that's just insane. But the fact that that's what they did to her, now I'm just thoroughly upset. I haven't even seen this, and now I'm just upset about it.
Oh, you'll be mad if you watch it. Then if you're a fan of Magic like I am, like prepare to be mad. And I
Oh,
again, I
Tom,
don't know
their
why they
brother
would
is fire
characterize her
too.
that way.
Their brother is fire. Like the Mikhail, like their older brother is fire as fuck too in the comics.
Yeah, he's a big part of the X Lives of Wolverine book too. Like he's a reality warper, so he's really powerful. Mikhail Rasputin.
Wow. Hey, you guys, I
Yeah.
have trivia for the movie if you want it.
We do.
All right. Josh Boone intended this film to be the first in a trilogy, with the second film to be an alien invasion movie featuring the alien mutant Warlock, and then the third and final installment to be a supernatural apocalyptic horror based on the Xmen comic event Inferno. Demons
Which would make a lot of
invade the
sense.
Earth and magic plays a major role.
That would have been
Which
cool
makes
if the
sense.
first movie was good, if they had a foundation to build off that. Like I would love to see Warlock and like Doug and some of that, but like when you make all the main characters really unlikable and the movie really boring, there ain't no way in hell that sequel's happening.
Right? Like I said, they did my boy Cannonball so dirty. My
Yeah, I
man
feel like they
said,
did
"Oh,
everyone dirty. Like I don't think anyone was not done dirty. Like for real.
Speaking of Cannonball, Nat Wolff was considered for the role of Cannonball. Nat Wolff.
I don't know who that is.
All right. Josh Boone admitted that he found shooting to be stressful as he felt a bit neutered because he had to tone down the film from his original full horror ideas.
Yeah, and that's what you really felt. It felt like
Yeah.
a movie that like really had a vision, but that vision got stripped away from it. So it's like it would be cool if it really was a horror movie, but it looks like he wanted to make a horror movie and then they backed off of it and it just became
That's
this
exactly what
boring-
happened. That's exactly what happened. Like he wanted to be a darker take on the New Mutants, and the studio, of course, they were like, "We don't know about that. We want that $10."
Yeah,
But then they saw how
tried to
that
make it more
trailer.
traditional.
But then they saw how the trailer they cut a horror kind of trailer, and they saw how good that did, and they tried to backtrack, and then they backtracked again.
Yeah, I heard there were a lot of reshoots and stuff. Yeah, they're like it was a mess. Whole
Oh,
process.
speaking of reshoots and stuff, the film had 5 release dates. It was originally slated to debut on April 13th, 2018, but was first delayed to February 19th, 2019 in order to conduct reshoots. Later, it was pushed back to August 2nd, 2019, while Disney finalized its purchase of Fox. The film was pushed back yet again to April 3rd, 2020 to make room for the release of X-Men Dark Phoenix, which we'll be talking about later. On March 12, 2020, it was postponed due to COVID-19. On May 19, 2020, its new release date of August 28, 2020 was announced, and the film was finally released in theaters on that stated date.
Yeah, after
Messy
that
as
third
fuck.
release date, I knew shit is bad. When you getting 5 release dates for your movie,
And then they didn't even want to release it.
Once your characters age up in real life past their movie characters, it's kind of a
yeah, you doing reshoots, niggas look completely different. Yeah, it was just a mess. I
Hey,
mean,
but
there's not
whole
much to say
time-
about New Mutants.
So wait, so like both Star Sisters were in fucking shitty mutant movies? That's
Yep.
hilarious.
Just
I
like
completely
like said,
forgot
Marvel,
about
just
that.
like they got the Game of Thrones brothers now and Eternals and stuff like that. The Stark brothers.
Hmm.
Shit.
Jamal,
Yeah.
should I cut the oven off?
Speaking of which, like Icarus has the worst ending of all movie characters I've ever seen.
Man,
That shit was stupid.
it's too on the nose. A little too on the nose.
And it's like, I know he's not gonna die, but like, what are you fucking doing, bro?
But they still didn't establish like that they're immortal, really. Like they kind of did, but they didn't do it like in the comics where there's like the machine. They're like they have
Yeah.
the resurrection machine. So it's like it'll be interesting to see if they play with that, or if they're gonna play with that from the big comic event this summer for Marvel. It's gonna be a Eternals focus, which I'm really excited for. It's gonna be like the Eternals, since the X-Men have advanced so much now, like the Eternals now consider them deviants. So now there's going to be a war between the X-Men and the Eternals on Earth, and the Avengers are like, "Whoa, chill the fuck out. Wait a minute." Like, wait a minute, dog. Like, don't destroy the Earth over some. We got some gang shit happening on Earth.
Yo,
right
is
now.
that like Marvel's thing now, just putting X-Men against various other people and just seeing what happens?
It's been a while.
They've
Since
been doing that
done
for
it.
they've been doing that for years, bro. They did it with these fucking Inhumans.
Yeah, that was. I don't want to talk about that era, the Inhumans era, where everybody was an Inhuman. Now no one even wants to speak the name Inhumans in Marvel anymore.
But
They're
we're
just like, you
getting
know what, Miss Marvel,
though.
she's got some bracelets or something. Let's not talk about her actual origin.
So is that everything on New Mutants?
Yep, completely forgettable. Skip it if you unless you're just bored and want to roast it. If you just want to roast a bad movie, then by all means. But other than that, skip it for your own time.
If you want to see a CW show without the CW charm, with a bigger budget, you can watch it.
The CW has charm.
Sometimes.
Ooh, they got charmed, motherfucker. That's what
Hey.
I see what you did there. I enjoyed it.
Hey, I don't care what nobody says. Season 1 and 2 of Archie is fucking amazing.
A what?
Archie. I mean, not Archie, but Riverdale.
Oh, Riverdale.
Man, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know enough about Archie comics, but I've seen it. Whatever's happening right now, they're doing something in the multiverse, and they're just talking about, did Archie get powers after their latest multiverse adventure?
I don't
what
even
the fuck is going on in this show? Oh, this is a high school drama.
Bro, all I know is in season 2 they had Archie walking through the ops hood with the strap looking for the smoke.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
Archie
shit.
Archie turns full-fledged gangbanger and is out there wilding, nigga. Not to mention Archie fucks everybody. Not to mention Archie fucks everybody.
Wow.
Respect.
Wow.
Yeah, like Archie's a whole, like, for some reason, Archie got the magic paint in Riverdale. Like, everybody want that jump.
All right, so I gotta get ready to do this next pod in a bit. Are we gonna get to the main event? We're gonna talk about these X-Men debacles.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's go.
So, all right, X-Men Dark Phoenix. They fucked up the Phoenix saga during X-Men 3. They said, let's take another crack at it. You know what I'm saying? Years later, we learned our lesson, almost like Deadpool. You think like, okay, we fucked up the first one with X-Men Origins, but now we know what fans want. We're going to go back and do it right. And they fucked it up worse. How did they do it worse?
It's the same fucking writer. Fucking writer.
You get a whole nother shot at it. You get a whole mulligan. And you did it worse than you did it the first time. Like, I don't even understand how you manage that. It's boring. I don't have enough negative, like, I'm trying to think of positives, but like even reportedly behind the scenes, the movie's whole third act had to be scrapped for some generic train scene. Like the villain of the movie is a generic alien. Do you know how many great villains the X-Men have? They didn't choose to use any of them. They invented some random ass, bland ass alien race and just said, "Oh, yep, that's your villain, Jessica Chastain's from this race of people who aren't in the comics." Who, even though we could have pulled, a bunch of cool.
No, wait. They are in the comic, but like
they're super minor and have nothing to do with the X-Men though.
Basically.
They're people whose planet got destroyed by like the Phoenix one time or something. So that's as loosely as it is. Like it's not the Brood. It's not, like the Phalanx or something cool or established. It's just like, oh, this minor Easter egg or something. It's a really odd choice to make that your villain of your big budget X-Men movie when they have so many great villains that they could have pulled from.
That's just
made no fucking sense. Like Dark Phoenix made like
another rant. I'm not trying to cut you off, but the opening scene of this movie establishes that Jean Grey gets the Phoenix from this space accident. The movie previous to this, she used her Phoenix powers to defeat Ivanu's Apocalypse. So why are we doing this again? Like, did they forget that we saw the previous movie?
My biggest thing was you have a mission in space and you send fucking Nightcrawler.
Yeah, it's I don't understand. I don't get
it. No, wait. You have a mission in space and you send Havoc and Nightcrawler with no spacesuits.
The whole movie was just poorly conceived, and then it's like apparently, like I said, apparently the third act of the movie was just the third act of Captain Marvel, and then they were like, Captain Marvel came out first, and they were just like, shit, what do we do now? Let's make the X-Men fight some people on a train or something, and it's just like, wait, can't Magneto just? Never mind, they're gonna struggle fighting on a train.
So after X-Men Days of Future Past 2014 erased the events of X-Men Last Stand from the series timeline, Kimberg expressed interest in a new adaptation of Chris Claremont and John Byrne's Dark Phoenix saga, in a future film that would be more faithful than his previous attempt with The Last Stand, which was
And it wasn't at all.
Yeah, it wasn't faithful at all. If anything.
With even Kimberg and co-writer Jack Penn ultimately impressed with the final product. The new adaptation was confirmed as a follow-up to Apocalypse in 2016. Kimberg signed on as director in June 2017, with the majority of the cast set to return for Apocalypse. Filming began later that month.
Oh, Hook, it's out of my man.
Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. Filming began later that month in Montreal and was completed in October 2017. The entire third act was reshot in late 2018 following poor test screenings. The film was dedicated to the memory of Xmen co-creator Stan Lee, who died on November 12th, 2018.
Damn.
Dark Phoenix was theatrically released in the United States on June 7th, 2019, produced and distributed by 20th Century Fox. It is the lowest grossing installment in the main series and the second lowest grossing X-Men film behind The New Mutants, which was released in theaters during COVID. The film grossed $252 million worldwide on a $200 million production budget and lost an estimated $133 million after the marketing and distribution costs, making it one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. It received negative reviews from critics.
Yeah,
it was
hopefully it
just
opens the
long
door for a
story
nice
short.
reboot.
How they gonna do this for
It's
Stan
really
Lee?
bad.
Stan Lee would have been pissed.
He mad as shit. He looking down mad. Arthur
He's
Fist from the clouds.
one of the biggest box office bombs of all time.
Because
It
it
was
wasn't a
half-hearted.
good movie. It wasn't a good movie from the start, and it ended. It started how it ended bad.
Yeah, it felt half-hearted. I watched Storm. Storm was in a serious fight with someone whose powers were like whipping hair or something. She was in a life or death fight with Willow Smith and struggling. and I was like, okay. Like,
Can we talk about how nerfed Storm has been in all these movies?
yeah, that's why I was just like, Storm can like literally summon a hurricane and throw this bitch to like Milwaukee, and she's fighting Willow Smith and struggling for some reason. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Storm can pull the lung out of your air. I mean, the air out of your lungs. I'm sorry.
Or a quick strike of lightning. Done.
Exactly.
Yeah, anything. Literally anything.
She can also pull the lung out of your air, like using air to pull your lung.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she
I mean,
can do that
I
too.
would have accepted it. I would prefer that to what we got.
Actually,
Personally.
there's even more gnarly that they've shown Storm lately because she's got this new badass role in the comics of Queen of the Solar System, and she runs like half of the mutant like civilization. But like she can change the air pressure to the point where like it will just make your head explode. And it was awesome. She did that to a row of enemies where she's just like, they all started to get nosebleeds. It's like, I feel weird. It's like the air pressure is getting weird, and their heads just instantly popped. And it was just like, oh shit, yeah, Storm's awesome. That's terrifying.
Yeah, damn.
That's some Fist of the North Star shit right there.
Because Storm has been
Storm
has been Omega levels since Omega levels was a thing, bro.
Yeah,
like Storm has always been powerful as fuck.
That's why she was always like right next to Professor Xavier. That was always like her spot of like, it was her, Scott and Wolverine that were always like the top bodyguards for that man because they were all that powerful and that loved. But Storm mainly because she was the bazooka.
Yeah, but whole
trivia.
time, real quick though, like I want to say, because of the TV show and the movies, Cyclops has been done so dirty.
Yeah, there's a long narrative. He's been disrespected because everyone just remembers him from the cartoon where he's just kind of like a square and kind of like
he let it's because he let Morph die. That's why.
Yeah, in the first episode, he makes a tough call and he lets Morph die and he gets like bitched by Wolverine because of it. Gets his car
for the rest of shit. For the rest of the series. For the rest of the series, Wolverine let that man know.
Yeah, so people don't really know that Cyclops really is kind of a badass and like very well respected. Like, there's a reason that Wolverine takes orders from Cyclops and doesn't complain about it. Like, he respects that man.
Other heroes respect Cyclops. Like Cap respects Cyclops type
Yeah,
shit.
he's the mutant Captain America, as you say. Like he's the Captain America of mutants. He's the most respected. He is the soldier, the foot soldier who's done the most work for Xavier's dream. Where he's just like, I'm gonna make that shit happen. Xavier talking about it, but he's out there doing it. And Cyclops has been, especially even during that Inhumans era where he was more radical, where he's like, we'll fucking kill some people if we have to. Like fuck it. Like Xavier's, he getting a little soft, where he was kind of more Magneto-ish. But yeah, Cyclops is a badass. They really get into it more so in the current era of Xmen too. Cyclops is awesome. Like I hate the slander that comes to Cyclops where people think he's just a bitch. But again, like you said, that comes from the '90s show and just the movies.
And I won't even lie to you. I'm getting very annoyed with how much they keep nerfing him. Because like as I was growing up, Cyclops his beams only got more powerful as he aged, and they were the point where like I think there was one comic book where he like beamed somebody on a different planet. Like they reached that far. That's how powerful they were.
Yes.
And like they could go through literally anything, and that's why like. You know, he was even approaching Omega himself, where it's like the only thing that his beams couldn't destroy or cut through was like reality, and it was getting to that point as well. But now it's like, oh yeah, anything can block his beams, like literally anything.
It's because the beams are low-key like a whole dimensional fucking force on their own.
Yeah, they're literally the energy of some some galaxy or something that's being destroyed or destroying.
It's a pocket dimension or some shit like that. It's basically like, you know how like when Nightcrawler teleports, he goes to a different dimension. It's some shit like that.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Cyclops, this Cyclops from the movie, Ty Sheridan admitted shortly before the film released that he wore a muscle suit throughout production instead of working out.
They look like they're in like those weird padded suits. Yeah.
Why would you do that to your movie though? Like I feel like he should get sued for that. Like imagine I'm in a role for a movie and I'm just like, hey guys, just to let you know, I did not actually do any of that. Like
that's funny.
Got some more trivia. Olivia Munn was set to return as Psylocke, but ultimately was unable to reprise her role due to scheduling conflicts with filming The Predator 2018.
Another bad movie.
I'm glad she didn't. Like normally I would be like, what are you doing? You should go to the bigger buck. But I'm glad that Olivia was like had the wherewithal to be like, nah, this is more important.
Yeah, Psylocke is also a really, really, really tricky character to pull off outside of like, oh, she's a cool ninja. But if you actually want to do like anything with the actual character, you have to get into the history of the character, which is problematic to say the least. That's a white woman trapped in an Asian woman's body that
adds some aliens and ninjas, and it's a lot of electric type shit going on with that.
Yeah, so you're Asian, but you're literally a white woman who stole an Asian woman's body? Cool.
With telekinetic powers sometimes.
Yeah, so the telekinetic powers are from Betsy Braddock, the white lady, who's in the Asian ninja's body. So that's why it's a combination of super cool ninja skills from the hand and like super powerful telekinetics. But also in 2022, it's really hard to explain that.
Or more so, you just don't touch that. Don't do that.
Well, you could do it like the current comics have done a good job with that by just separating Betsy and Quanon now. Like now that they have resurrection and stuff like that, they were able to put Betsy back in her own body. So Betsy is now a white woman again, and Quanon has her own body that goes by Psylocke now. So they're two separate people now, which is, I guess, the cleanest way you could do that.
All right. You want some more trivia? I got some more trivia.
Go for it.
All right. The role of Buck was first offered to Angelina Jolie, who passed on it before Jessica Chastain accepted it. Jolie passed on the role because she was more interested in playing the titular character in Bride of Frankenstein before Universal decided to put it on hold. They were the only names considered by the studio for Buck, and both were recommended by James McAvoy due to his working relationship.
Okay, so first of all, saying on hold when talking about the Dark Universe is putting it very, very lightly. They buried the fuck out of that franchise.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
But Dracula, I like that Dracula movie though. That joint was hard, bro.
Yeah, low key. Like I was telling somebody that like the Dracula movie they did was low key all right. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what they were. It wasn't what they wanted. I guess it wasn't a box office hit. But Dracula Untold was fire though. No bullshit.
Yeah.
But then they banked everything on fucking Tom Cruise and then bought the farm.
Hey man, that's my hot take. I like that Mummy movie, dog. I liked it.
Really?
I liked it.
Really? Why? Tell me why.
I mean, it's fucking Mission Impossible in the desert, bro. Like,
But we already got that.
even a Mummy
Without
movie.
Mama. But we already got that without mummies, though. It's a better movie.
I get it, but it's Tom Cruise, it's Mission Impossible with a little mystic stuff in there, man. It is.
Y'all
Okay,
act
so
like if something has been done before or something what has ever happened, it's like, no, we got that. Like that'd be killing me. Like I fuck with your seats, but y'all be killing me with that.
I don't mean to say it like that. Let me clean it up a little bit. I don't mind rehashing ideas, but like you're gonna rehash an idea, at least bring something new to it. You feel me? And like none of that movie was new. Like half of the plot is fucking American Werewolf in London, first of all.
Ain't no bullshit. Hey, no, that's one of my movies, though.
It's the same fucking plot. But then like none of the second half of the movie makes any fucking sense.
I can't.
That second half makes no fucking sense.
I can't disagree with that. But I will say I am someone who loves more of the same thing. If like to what you said, they do take the time to be a little bit more creative about it. Like, don't give me literally just the same thing. Like, give me more of what I'm familiar with, but do something different. I can agree with that.
Build on it type shit. Like, build on it. Like, we've all seen the show. We all love shonen shit. We've all seen the same fucking story all over again. But hey, show me something. Jazz it up a little bit. Give me something different. Like, there's a reason that Dragon Ball Z isn't Naruto. Naruto isn't Hunter x Hunter, but they're all the same fucking story, basically.
These are facts. These are facts.
It's like you motherfuckers spend go to school for years to learn how to write, and then you plagiarize shit. Leave me the fuck alone, bro.
These go to school to learn how to write, and then they cheat. They just go
That's
to
how it happens. Hey,
man.
they said this film had reshoots because it was too similar to the film Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
Wow.
they said Jean was just gonna go into space and like fight, like go like a super, dark Phoenix mode and like beat all the aliens, and that was gonna be the end. That's the end of Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you go to work one day and they're just like, yo, guys, sorry, we're kind of plagiarizing some shit. We got to change it up. Like, imagine you're on the production crew when somebody tells you that.
Yeah, it's like remember the whole third act we just shot? Well, someone just released a movie that was that. So we gotta do something else. How much time we have? We got like 3 months.
I mean,
We can make
cool
it
that
work.
it's cool that they care now, because remember back in the day they didn't. Like The Lion King is definitely a fucking a whole plagiarized movie.
That is true. We're only just caring
But
about.
also, like, I will say this: it's different. But like, it's one thing when like one like it also depends on like how known one of the properties is. Like, no one really knew what the fuck Kimball was at that time.
That is true.
Like you can have liberties when like the properties aren't the same. Like Star Wars is what, Seven Samurai basically.
Star Wars is doing basically.
But it has its own unique spin to it though. But also, like, how many motherfuckers actually saw Seven Samurai?
That is also true. Somebody was like,
I got some more trivia.
Oh, go ahead.
Simon Kinberg didn't want Wolverine in the film due to the age gap between Hugh Jackman and Sophie Turner, and it's unlikely that Jackman would have returned in any case due to retiring the character in 2017.
That wouldn't have made any fucking sense.
Oh, go ahead.
That wouldn't have made any fucking sense.
Yeah, I definitely
wouldn't have made any sense.
Because like Wolverine's long on and off again sort of like friendship romance with Jean Grey would have looked weird between Hugh Jackman and Sophie Turner. I can actually agree with that. I was a little concerned about that when I saw the movie.
So did y'all like the characterization of the Phoenix? Because I have some trivia here that says Phoenix was originally conceptualized with a fiery look for the film. It was revamped in post-production to look more cosmic.
I hate it.
I mean,
I hate it because it has nothing to do with the Mcron crystal or like anything that the Phoenix is supposed to be. It was just I don't know.
It was a power up. It was a out of nowhere power up that made no sense in the context of the movie.
They did the same thing. They said they were going to make this more faithful to the comics and make it more cosmic, but it ended up being the same thing as the original from X3, where it's just like, oh, it's just her trauma basically, and it's just he tried to lock away her trauma until it got out, and then she's got mad, and then yeah, she's Phoenix now. It has nothing to do with like the Imcron crystal or anything with the Shi'ar and all that stuff that makes the Phoenix Saga make any type of fucking sense.
Hell yeah. Whole time. You know who did all of this shit worse than Xmen did though? Did y'all see Fan Fantastic?
That's gonna be a whole nother day. I ain't got time to get into that.
Oh, man, that's a whole nother episode, baby. Oh, goddamn.
I will say one thing. I can understand. There are certain issues about making movies about comics that are hard to deal with when you're a director and a screenplay writer. And that
it's not. Just follow the comic.
No, well, hold up. The thing is that like with the Phoenix, that brings up an issue. The Phoenix is a much bigger. It's really one piece of a much bigger story. And
Yeah.
Okay,
if
so
you have like
explain.
this story being the thing that people are like really wanting to watch this for, like you see that's what's selling, and you're like, oh fuck, but I don't have the budget to make this a grandiose like saga because we don't have Marvel's full budget. We just have Fox, so we can only make a couple of movies. That's what they're telling us to make, and they're like, you got to focus on this thing. If I'm a director, like that's my job. They literally just come up to me and they're just like, look, this is your job. This is what we're paying you to do. You got to use this material because that's what's selling, and you got to make it work. You're kind of in a bind. You're in a bind because like that doesn't work without like what CJ said, like all these other aspects of that story. So what the fuck can you do?
Follow the comic.
You can't.
Literally.
You can't
Yes,
do
you
it. There's
can.
not
You don't
enough
To a
have
point. I think you both are right. You're both right.
You don't have to
Like-
go super into detail though, man. Like I get it. There's stuff that you do have to leave out, and there's stuff that you need to keep in. But at the same time, if you're trying to make a movie out of this, it's no point of creating some fucking whole like with what was it with fucking time travel in the Avengers, bro? Like,
Yeah, that was dumb.
like what? Like,
Oh,
that,
man.
you could have just followed. You could have just followed the fucking Infinity Saga and kept it
It's
going,
well
bro.
documented how I feel about time travel. Like, it just,
But that's what I'm saying.
Like-
You don't have to create like, oh yeah, the Phoenix Force came from this failed space mission. Like, come on, bro, really?
This is my take on it. The Phoenix Saga should never be one fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Facts,
That's the answer.
facts.
Like it's too sprawling of a saga. Even in the TV in
It's
the
a
cartoon, that
saga.
was like a big epic saga.
That was
in
half the fucking
90s.
season. That was half the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, it's like
And
if
it
you can't
worked
tell
because
that
they-
story in one movie, try to tell a different story, bro. That's it.
Exactly. Like fucking Endgame took fucking damn near 20 years, bro. And we loved
There's
it.
just so many good X-Men stories you could tell, and then to fail, we got 2 movies that are wasted Dark Phoenix stories, failures. Like, bro, we could have seen any other good storyline from the X-Men, all these great villains to choose from, and like you didn't choose any of them. None of the you didn't choose any of the iconic X-Men villains you could have picked. They're just like, nah, we're just gonna do Jean Grey's her own worst enemy type thing again, and she's gonna kill Mystique, who like you're supposed to care about for some reason. But Jennifer Lawrence just doesn't want to be in these movies anymore.
Yo, bro. Get me out of here, bro. Get me out your fucking universe, bro.
It's like were Jean Grey and Mystique supposed to be close or something? Like I don't even understand the emotional resonance it's had. It's just like, oh, she's dead now. Like
They were girlfriends.
okay.
They went shopping at the mall together.
All right, calm down.
don't
I mean,
like his voice.
didn't they have? No, that wasn't Jean Grey. And was that? Who was Jean Grey
Was it
driving
that?
back in the car with Jubilee and
Oh, well, I thought you believe it.
the joint that had Quicksilver in it, when he saved everyone
I
from the
remember.
exploding?
Yeah, I remember one movie when they went to the mall and nothing ever came out of it, and
Yeah,
it had like a weird
Apocalypse.
sidetrack to like
'Cause
a Wolverine movie for a second, and then
because
like,
Nightcrawler was with them.
yeah,
That was Apocalypse, right?
that was
Was-
Apocalypse.
so.
Was Mystique with them?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, no, fuck that.
It doesn't matter.
Girlfriends.
Just throw the whole movie out.
New
Like that.
girlfriends.
They were BFFs.
Who the
Know
fuck
what
they
I'm
weren't?
saying?
BFFs.
Nobody
Think
in
they-
these movies were actually friends, bro. Nobody in these movies were friends. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't give
They
them
didn't
time to
have
be
any
friends, dog.
chemistry.
I think
Nobody
this just
had
gives us hope
chemistry.
moving forward in the future because they've taken such long break of X-Men. They've dropped little hints and clues that like they might take a stab at the Krakoa X-Men when they reboot this for the movies, which I feel like this is the only way now. It's been years now since they've done it in the comics. It's proven to be successful, that people love where the X-Men status quo is now. It would be different. It would be, like I just don't want to see them come to like the MCU at Westchester with the same ass lineup doing the same old bullshit. Like let's time to shake it up. Like now that the Disney's got it, it's time for Krakoa. We can do a simplified version of it. They can do it like the comics, or they're combining the 90s show with the Krakoa, which is really cool with the X-Men 97 comic. Like what if Krakoa was happening during the X-Men 90s cartoon? And it's just like, yes, more shit like that. Like let's do Krakoa, because like it's time. The X-Men are kind of like, they don't fit in the Marvel universe as a school in New York where everybody fucking hates them while the Avengers are celebrated as heroes. Like no one would know that Spider-Man is not a mutant. So they wouldn't be like, oh, we love Spider-Man and Captain Marvel, but fuck you, Wolverine. Like that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that heroes are worshipped in the MCU except mutants just because they're born that way. Like it just doesn't make sense. Where it's like the Fantastic Four, beloved heroes, but hey, fuck you, X-Men. Like you dirty fucking mutants. Like, wait a minute. So how is that any different from the Thing? How is, this dude's made of rocks.
He wasn't born with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I feel like it's just really, they don't fit unless like the X-Men are in their own separate little corner. And I feel like that's why Krakoa works so well. Because like, oh, the X-Men are here, but they're on their own orgy island right now doing their own shit. They got their own government, their own villains, their own problems. They're not worried about what the fuck the Avengers are doing right now.
All right,
Unless the whole entire world is under threat immediately, then they'll pop out and help.
Speaking of X-Men 97, the studio has announced very little about X-Men 97 outside of giving it a vague 2023 release date and revealing several members of its creative team and cast.
Hoping they're just working on a version of like what they're doing in the comics. Like I said, there's a comic version that they're releasing of the show, of the reboot, that is just Krakoa. It's just like those old storylines combined with what if the status quo back then was Krakoa. Like they already have the portals, they already have the immortality, they already have their own government and island and stuff like that. How would the 90s show have played out if that was the status quo? And I think that's really interesting. I'm gonna pick that comic up because that sounds fucking interesting as shit to me. And I hope that's the direction they go with the show. Like, just give us something different, man. The X-Men they're more interesting than they've ever been. Like the Krakoa era was so popular, like I said, it might bite them in the ass. It's too popular to the point where like it was supposed to wrap up, and the Marvel executives are like, "Nah, this is too lucrative. Like, we're gonna keep Krakoa going as long as niggas keep buying Krakoa comics. Like, fuck the storyline. Like, we're gonna stretch it out. We're gonna make new storylines. We'll bring in new writers to do new shit with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see the potential creatively, and that was another thing that Hickman, why he let them do that. Hickman, who created the whole thing, he was like, he saw that other artists and some of his friends, other writers were coming in and they were having fun with the playground that he built. Like he built the playground of Krakoa. Now other writers are like, oh shit, I never thought of the X-Men like that. Maybe I got an X-Men story now, now I want to tell this now. So he's like, yeah, I see other people coming up with good ideas based off of what I created. I'm gonna let them run with it. I'm not gonna take my ball and go home, especially when so many people are enjoying these comics. So I'm gonna just, I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna let people take my baby and take it over, but I'm gonna let them have fun with it and let Marvel gets to have their cake and eat it too. We could still get good Krakoa stories. We might get some bad ones now, but like at the same time, Marvel keep that Krakoa money coming in because those comics are selling good. Like the new X-Men, X-Force, Wolverine, Excalibur. Somehow I don't know who's reading it. Somebody is. Like they sell very well. All the X-Men.
All right. Anything else on the movie?
I mean, that's about it. Skippable. Skip it. Save yourself the time.
All right.
Just read the comic book, dog.
King to the Moon. Funko Pop Poppy.
What happened?
Who did it? What's going on? I'm sorry.
I said, kick it to the moon. It's a bonfire. I wish
Well,
I had
what
my soundboard right now.
Oh, what we bonfiring? I'm sorry. I've been, like I said, I'm cleaning. I'm cleaning out my old apartment.
We've been doing Dark Phoenix.
Fuck that movie.
All right, that's where we're closed with, everybody. Thank you for joining us on a new bonfire episode. I was your host, LK Guy, with my co-host Bubsy Wubsy. We was here with Steve God, also here with Puffco Poppy and Funko Pop Poppy. Subscribe everywhere, listen everywhere, watch us everywhere, and buy some merch. We have merch available. Hit the Linktree, FIYASquad, everywhere on IG and Twitter and SoundCloud. Gang.